200 free samples for underground electronic music production. This is what I have for you today. And I'm going to show you multiple ways how to use that. We're going to start the video with the more classic use, but the more we're going to progress, the more experimental and uncommon it's going to become. You'll see that there's many ways to use these samples, and really the limit is, I guess, your skills and just stuff you didn't know you could do, but now you know. So, little short story about this pack. It's called Black Box Vol.2 because there's a Volume 1. Volume 1 was released last year, but more for the Black Friday period. And this time, we wanted to do it again, but it's more for the end of the year. It's more like a end of the year gift, just to be sure that you hand the year on a high note, and also you can start 2024 full throttle. If you want to get the pack, it's on the Fractal Sounds website, and the link is in the description. And if you're just discovering Fractal Sounds, don't forget to check out the free download section. It's full of goodies. There's more niche stuff there. So the Black Box Volume 1, Black Box Volume 2, it's the most common stuff. These are samples, so fairly easy to use in music. But there's some niche stuff in the free download section, like presets for Harmor by ImageLine. There's snappy presets. There's even some presets for the kilohertz convolver. Some very precise stuff. But if you have these tools, these are really cool. But now let's dive into Black Box Volume 2 and how to use it. Okay, so before we start directly into the first use of these sounds, this is how the pack is. You have, all these 200 samples. These are one-shot samples, so let me play a couple of them for you. So you can see that these are all at 145 BPM, but truly it's really good information if you go for some samples that has a bit of gating and rhythmic information. For example, this one. So it's just useful in any case, but you don't necessarily need to produce tracks at this speed in order to use them. Far from it. And like I will demonstrate right now with this first example, and actually all the examples, you'll see that is, it's not BPM dependent. Far from it. But it's some useful information to put in there when you give someone samples. So first, let's listen to this little loop, and there's some percussions in there, some more percussive synths, if we can say, and they have been made from sounds from this pack. So we are talking about these sounds. Let me just isolate them for you. So super simple, but with the swing, with the groove, it gives a nice touch. Let's see what's in there. So we have this, that's a B, A sharp 4. Which one is it? It's number 8, yeah. And you can see it's been pitched up. And also, this is a super cool feature from FL Studio. So, you can really resize it and make it into somewhat more percussive synth. And we can just see how it sounds without those manipulations. So you can see that the original sound is just longer, but you can make it slicier and more percussive by doing so. Now let's see what's been done to this sound. Actually, nothing. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. This is an old project. I've worked with a student actually, and I used them for a demonstration, so I thought I would reuse it, but didn't remember there's actually nothing. This one has, next one has a low cut, and yeah, there's one that has a bit more stuff, but we'll see. Now, next up is this one. It's number 13, C sharp. Originally sounds like this. And it's a bit more percussive now. It's been pitched to the correct pitch. That's also why it's useful to have the information of the note of the sample.
And this one has a bit of high pass EQ. That's really just it. You can see they're ready to go. Really, that high quality sounds ready to be dragged and dropped into your project. So for the second part of this synth phrasing, we have the same ones. This one is already there, this one too, and we have this last one, which is number 43, which is just a really nice reverse-ish sound, and you can see it's been shifted a bit because originally it comes like this. So it's longer, but it's been resized once again, and it sounds like this. So really that combination of three sounds really quickly playing gives a really nice feel and complements the groove. So percussive synths is one of the use of these sounds, but stay tuned, there's much more that we can do with these sounds. That's actually, a very classic use, but we're gonna get freaky a bit. Next up, we are inside Faceplant, and we're going to make a wavetable from one of these samples. And if you get your calculation right, you can make technically 200 new wavetables from these sounds. I'll show you how to do it. I've done some videos before on how to use the Wavetable editor inside Faceplant, but still it's just very relevant to talk about this. Let's dive in. We're gonna get a wavetable generator. We're gonna open the editor because really that's where it happens. You're gonna pick one sound that you resonate with. Yeah, I think this one's pretty textury, so let's go with this one. I'm gonna get this sound and drag it inside the Wavetable editor. So you can see it's very effective because Faceplant already knows that it's a sample in B, and it detects, we're gonna use the lock all fade alignment. If you're not satisfied with what you get, you can change these parameters. You can change the root pitch. We're still going to be in B, but maybe like B1, B2, B3 or something. And same for here. We can kind of change these if we don't like what we get. But let's try this original setting. So really just right off the bat, there's a nice wavetable that comes out of this, but there's some stuff we can do to make it more like a professional wavetable. First, we're gonna go to fixes. We're gonna normalize frame peak. So you can now see that we get it normalizes all the information. So now it's louder. The waveform information is considered louder. Honestly, it already has a nice sweep already, so there's not much to be done. If it's too harsh, what you can do is go into effects and go with frame blend and add more frame blend. So let's try this setting. It actually makes it a bit smoother now. Yes, so this is ready. That's a nice wavetable. So you can see it's already usable. It's done. You get a new wavetable. And the thing is, if you use the effects here properly, you could actually branch that into multiple wavetables. But you need to know a bit more about these, and these are quite complex. But if you want to know more about these, I'm currently releasing module by module a masterclass on Faceplant for the students of Fractal Mentorships. So there's a link in the description if you want to know more about that. And we are going module by module, very deep inside Faceplant. So this is where you can find that information. But I also recommend to watch the video I did on the Faceplant Wavetable editor. I believe I go into some of these, at least I explain them more. We go through all, a lot of features from this Wavetable editor. But once you're done and you like your Wavetable, you can go here, save, and we're going to create ourselves a nice Wavetable collection from this pack. All right, so now I can start creating some sounds. And you can see, this is good for psytrance, but there's, it's also good for this pack. I label it as underground electronic music. It's good for all underground electronic music. So that was the second use of these sounds, creating a wavetable from these samples. Now we're going to do some granular synthesis. So I'm going to get a granular engine. And by the way, well, same thing for the wavetable. I did it in Faceplant, but you can just do that in your favorite wavetable editor. Mine happens to be Faceplant because I think you saw how easy it is to work with. But you can, do that inside Serum, even Vital, and any synth that has a proper wavetable editor will, you'll be able to do that with this synth. Now time for granular. And actually, I think I'm going to start with the exact same sound just to show, that just with one sound, how wide you can go in terms of experiment. But truly, it works with all the sounds in this collection and also with the granular sources from Fractal Sounds. So let's go and get this guy here. This is what we get. So once again, I have videos where I've shown some techniques about granular synthesis, but let's say we want to create a nice pad, a nice atmosphere. We're going to get a bit of position randomness. We're going to get just a bit of pitch randomness. Let's try some pan randomness. You don't necessarily need some level randomness, and we'll see about the timing. But basically what this randomness add is just that that feeling of organicness, organicality, organic or oregano. Yeah, it adds that feeling of just inconsistency that is good for a pad, because you can see if we get everything at 0, right? It can sound good, but it sounds very like re-triggered, which is normal. So for a pad, you don't necessarily want that. Sounds really cool, but I'm not sure about my pad plan now. I might go for something more like a lead, but yeah, let's get a filter in there and see where this leads us. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go more for a, and that's how you should follow your inspiration, especially with, with experiments like this. So what this sound is trying to tell me is actually that it wants to be an effect more, something more like a lead or an effect. So I'm gonna get an LFO. I really like that filter motion right there. So I'm gonna get that LFO and I'm gonna program it to go like that. I want it to be slower. A bit faster. Yeah, I like that when it just a complete cycle is really cool. So we're gonna get multipass. I have some pre-programmed delays right there. Something like this. Now we're gonna get an NOTT to really beef up the sound. Put some mix right there. One thing very important right now, because actually what I play right now it's not the correct note, in a sense that this sample is in B. So we just need to change the root note. So when we're gonna play on the keyboard, let's say a G, it actually corresponds to a G. Now we are good. And you know, you need to do that for all the samples except the ones that are in C, because they're gonna correspond to your keyboard. Same thing if you use it in a sampler or just any other synth that has granular synthesis. Now, what's really, really cool is now you can use a technique where you're just, you know, you have your sound, the preset is set up, the, you know, the motion, the modulation, and you can just do what we call like source swap. So I'm just gonna drag another sound, another sample in there, and it's going to be different but similar but different. I can also change the delay setting. And yeah, you have 200 samples to experiment with this technique and all the techniques I've shown today. Let's end today's video with a nice one. Yep, that's a good closer, but yeah, I need to stop there. Every time I do a video on Faceplant, it's always like, okay, so I stop there because just right now I thought about, okay, so I could actually, I could get one more, you know, I could have another layer, and then I have these two sounds layered together, you know, so it never ends. That's the thing with Faceplant. That's the cool thing. But yeah, I think I demonstrated that technique where you can swap your source. It's very, very, very useful, and you know, it has so much creative power. So really, I really hope that these sounds will inspire you and help you end the year on a high note and start 2024 with a bang.
And that's it for this video. I really hope that these samples will inspire you and help you. Personally, I use them in my own projects, and I use them with the ways I showed you in this video. So if you appreciated all this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want more free stuff, more knowledge. Also, two things to check out. There's a new pack on Fractal Sounds. It's called Psytrance Fusion Vol.2. It's the second edition of Psytrance Fusion for pigments. So these are 100 Psytrance presets for pigments, and these are really cutting edge presets made from granular sources, only from Fractal Sounds, exclusive wavetables from Fractal Sounds. So it's very unique stuff. And so far the response by community has been really, really great. So don't forget to check these out. And it's currently on an intro price. Secondly, like I mentioned in this video, I run a mentorship program with Fractal Sounds, and it's been helping a lot of producers. And there's just it creates a nice community as well, and there's some really there's some boundaries that we really push to get a really nice environment that is proper for learning. So there's mixing and mastering services there, but there's one-to-one lessons, group lessons, there's some free presets, and there's even some masterclass that are being released month by month. So you can progress along with these masterclass and just more stuff. But basically, that's the core idea of it. There's of course a link in the description if you want more information. You can reach me on Discord, on Instagram, and WhatsApp if you're already a student. Aside from that, I wish you the best end of the year and also the best beginning of 2024. A lot of happy producing, keep the fun up, and I will see you in another video.